As Deputy Prime Minister, you saw Australia in such a great spot, yet in the past decade or so, the institutions have been hollowed out in many ways and shifted, as well as the entire nation. And our economy, our way of life, who Australians are, is being questioned. What has that meant to you, and why do you find it so important to be having podcast conversations and joining the conversation again after what you've already done for this nation?
It's my view that you cannot get good public policy without high quality debate. The two are utterly dependent upon each other. And when you reach the point where the debate is truncated, where it's subjected to the fashion, the ideological moment, to prejudice, to division, and the debate is therefore truncated or bastardised, or short-circuited, or shut down altogether, just cancelled, you'll never get good public policy. I'm a believer in good public policy. It's now over a quarter of a century since Australia initiated and put in place tough economic reform back in around 98, 99. We haven't done anything major since. And yet the country on every front is fragmenting socially and weakening economically.
That is a hat trick. We've had 3 interest rate rises in the first 3 meetings of this year.
And I might add, militarily.
If a conflict broke out right now, we would be begging the US to help us.
This causes me immense distress. I'm deeply concerned about where Australia is. A middle power with a very high living standards, a peaceful place, a laid-back place, a friendly place. I, like so many other Australians, feel a very deep sense of loss.
What is that difference for you then? Not getting back involved in politics, but rather having a conversation on the outside?
Well, no one would want me involved in politics again. I think that would be a case of my vote and maybe my wife's if I was lucky. Look, in terms of the podcast, my approach is very much, as I just indicated, without a good public discussion, without an understanding of the issues, you're not going to get good public policy. So we're trying to provide with the podcast a conduit, if you like, for good, clear thinking on a whole range of topics that matter, including international relations, so that people can tap in and hear what some of the world's best and clearest thinkers have to say.
Well, on that note of best and clearest thinkers on the globe, as Deputy Prime Minister, I'm sure your Rolodex is thick, long and strong. How do you have that balance of caring, talking about Australian issues that maybe, and you're talking to a niche person who no one might know about, and the urge to call up former Prime Minister of England or of President of the United States or whatever contacts you do have?
I don't know if I have contacts at that level, and it's quite a while since I was in public office. Look, I try to go with high quality thinking, whoever's providing it. And sometimes I've gone to people that might not be known in the public arena at all, but I think what they're saying ought to be heard. And I've done quite a bit of that. And funnily enough, I won't mention names, but one American I had a conversation with during the COVID years came up to me in London one day and said, "Thank you for having me on. No one was taking what I was saying seriously until your one little podcast from Australia." And he has been taken seriously, and he's now quite senior in Washington, which is very interesting. And it just makes the point that sometimes the mainstream media in particular will not platform thinking that's important. And our world's changed. The online stuff, what we're doing now, I think, is having more and more influence and can have more and more impact, for good or for bad. I'm trying to make sure, as I'm sure you are, that on balance is for good.
Most definitely trying to